Welcome, everybody, to the Future Belongs to Creators podcast. I am your host, Charlie. Unfortunately, my regular co-host, Haley Miguel, couldn't make it here today, but do not fear, because I am joined by a very special guest, my friend, Waldo Brudrick. Did I say your last name right, Waldo?
Yeah, that's great.
Great. Waldo is the director of community and special projects at Blush. He's also the community manager at Robotos. And this is an NFT project. And honestly, Waldo, I think you're the first person that I saw on my Twitter timeline, or like one of the first, talking about NFTs. Yes. And I don't know, to start with, it was like, what is this acronym? And then it just became this movement that I feel like I've seen rise up around me. It is everywhere across my timeline at the moment. And I think it's something that creators need to know about, right? Like, we need to understand new technologies and new avenues for monetization and creating. And you are here today to give us, and like me, really honestly, the lowdown and answer some really noob questions that maybe some people want to know and have felt too afraid to ask.
I'm here to help. You don't know what you don't know. And Charlie, just thank you for having me here. I'm really grateful to be here. So, thank you.
And for everyone listening, Waldo has been a huge help to me throughout my career, and is just like a wonderful person. So he is someone that I absolutely feel confident asking the dumb questions to.
Appreciate you.
So let's get into it. And by the way, because we do record this live for anyone listening afterwards, if you have questions about NFTs or anything like that throughout, drop them in the live chat and we can like pick Waldo's brain on them too. But let's start super high level, because Waldo, we cannot assume that anyone listening to this knows anything about NFTs, and you also cannot assume that I know anything about what you're talking about. So what is an NFT?
Okay, an NFT is a non-fungible token. That's what that stands for, first off.
That does not mean much.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much. So it's a one-of-one created or minted creation. It could be an image, could be an animated image, could be music, it could be a website. So it's anything that you create that there's one of one. It's almost like a form of currency or like an art piece. Like if we look back in time, there's more money in artwork than there is in like modern day investments right now. Like, so it's an opportunity for creators to be able to create their own art, which brings utility, which brings people together, and lets people just create really cool experiences. So,
And it's kind of like if you own an NFT,
mm-hmm.
it's like owning the original Mona Lisa, as opposed to, I don't know, like posters that have been screen printed
Yes, exactly.
and
Yeah.
sold in bulk at the gift shop.
Yeah.
That might
Lives
be
on
like
the
a
blockchain.
screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a public record of any
Mm-hmm.
NFT that's minted or created, and you can see who owns that. And you can also transfer them between people or purchase them. A lot of people treat them as investments, so that's pretty common in the space right now.
Cool. And we were definitely into that. But one word that didn't come up in what you were just saying just then was blockchain.
Yes.
And
So yeah, there are multiple blockchains where you can build on top of right now. The most common is Ethereum. There's also the Solana network, and let's see. I know that there are multiple other ones out there, and they're all using different mechanisms to be able to build and share.
So essentially, the like ownership of the NFT is tracked on the Ethereum blockchain,
Correct.
and that is also the currency that you use to buy and sell an
Correct.
NFT.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. I feel like that is good high level details, but maybe we should give some examples to people to better help understand what this is, because you also mentioned community there, which
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's community around real life art. Should we call it physical art?
It's I think it's beautiful in this way, in that like you can build connections through like building a community around art or things that people just admire or form like a connection with. They're like, oh wow, I really love this. That like Robotos is the project that I'm most involved in, and it's incredible seeing how people are like creating entire stories or personas for the Robotos that they purchase.
Let's show people an example of this. I'm going to switch over here. So this is the Robotos project,
Yes.
and
this is the DApp that we're looking at, or the Decentralized App.
Okay.
So with this DApp, you're able to connect it to your wallet. So I imagine most people have one or two wallets in real life that you keep currency in. Think about like, or when it comes to NFTs, you store them within a wallet. It could be MetaMask, could be Trust Wallet. There are tons of different Web3 wallets where you can store your NFTs within. And when you connect it to a DApp, you can create different experiences. Like if I were to connect right now and show you, we could dress up my Roboto, or go see all my Robopets or all my Robotos, or different traits, and different ways to interact with it. So, yeah.
Okay, so this is not just a landing page then about the project, is what I'm hearing. It's also something you can use to interact with the art that you have purchased.
That's correct.
Can you describe to us what this, because this is a project where there's not just like, it's not a one of one technically.
Yes.
It's like
so it's
10,000 ones at once.
10K project. I mean, they're technically 9,999.
Okay.
Robotos, which were minted. And so at the time when they're launched, I think at like 0.05 Ethereum, you could mint an NFT. And much like you mint currency, or like the government mints currency, we're able to mint our own NFTs on the blockchain. So let's see, when you mint an NFT, that's like the beginning of the project, is the minting.
Okay.
You'll see that term thrown around quite a bit, and that's when you get in early. It's like you're the early investor, getting involved in the project. So you could mint. You don't know what you're going to get most of the time at minting. It's like, okay, I'm going to pay 0.05 Ethereum or whatever the minting price is, and then you'll receive that in your wallet. And then there's also reveal period. Oftentimes it could be instant, to where like you see immediately, this is the NFT which I received, or this is the Roboto that I got. When we launched RoboPets, we had a 1 week minting window, and the reveal was about a week later. So everyone had like the same image. It was just like a GIF of like rotating question mark RoboPet. But then at the reveal, you see what you get. So you might have paid like 0.05 ETH for a Roboto, and then end up getting a super, super rare Roboto, which people usually want to invest. Like they look at the rarity around the projects, and or they're like, wow, I want this character.
And then you
So,
could sell it for more and
yeah, like some of them
make
went
a
for
buck
like
on it.
33 ETH, I think.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Boombato or something. If you scroll up on
Okay.
this page, there's a filter on the right there, and I think you can go to like the price load high and see
Let's go price high
highest
to low.
or highest last sale. I think there you can see like the actual sale price, because some of them have quite the price on them already.
Highest last sale. Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's take a
let's
look.
take a look. So 37 ETH for that Roboto.
And what is this in dollars for people who don't speak cryptocurrency?
Yeah. ETH
Are we
price.
talking like over 170,000 US dollars?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there we go. I hope that puts some things in context for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Can we clarify a few things about this whole minting thing though? So
Yes.
I thought how it worked is that as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
I create a design, or maybe in this case, I create 9,999 designs.
Mm-hmm.
I put them up for sale. So, like, I am minting them and like listing them for sale for other people to buy. But it sounds like what you're describing is a way for artists to do this without making the upfront investment themselves.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
OpenSea allows you to do this. There are other platforms, and I think on OpenSea you can also mint it ahead of time, or at the time of like the first time someone purchases. Let's see, like Foundation is another one. It's like an invite only. It kind of feels like the dribble of NFTs.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
but there's an actual dribbling going around. It's like people just posting their art. So you mint it, and whenever you're minting, you're paying gas fees, are what you're going to hear about. Think of
Okay.
those as like transaction fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the fee that you pay to list something for sale,
Yeah.
essentially, or to like claim
like-
it on the blockchain.
Yeah, just like you have transaction fees with like any credit card purchase,
Mm-hmm.
usually like 3% or so. But gas fees are they're astronomically high right now, and that's because a lot of people are getting into it, and we're waiting on Ethereum 2.0 to launch. So that should launch here in like the next year or two. It might be sooner. I'm not sure. I'd heard rumors of that launching by like Q2 next year. But we'll see.
And what will that be? Like
So
V2 of a currency?
No, so it's an upgrade to the network. So
Okay.
let's see. If you look at Visa, they can perform about 25,000 transactions per second. If you look at Solana, I think, let's see, they're using proof of history, and they can carry out up to 50,000 transactions per second. With the ETH2 upgrade, you're going to be able to perform 100,000 transactions per second, and it should be about 700 times cheaper and 700 times faster. So, yeah.
And is it cheaper because it's faster?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
now we're
cheaper
getting into like cryptocurrency
numbers.
101, I guess, as well.
I'm still learning too. Like, I want to just encourage everyone, like, do your own research. Like, if you don't know what you don't know, talk to friends. This isn't financial advice for me.
Yes, we should definitely clarify that.
Go learn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a thing that is happening at the moment. So hopefully looking at this gives people an idea of essentially what's happening is someone is listing something for sale or giving the opportunity for you to have a lucky dip, really, of something that you're going to get that you could then list for sale yourself and claim ownership of.
Yeah. I think
or you can keep it and hold on to it if you really like it, right? Like you could own it just like you own a piece of physical art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen some friends that like purchased an NFT for like 1 ETH and then sold it for 400 ETH, which is like they became a millionaire like overnight.
Wow.
So it's like distributing wealth within like decentralized platform. So
yeah, let's talk about this a little bit more. Can you why do you think that this has gotten so popular? Is that distributing wealth a big part of it? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, I think that's a massive part, but I think another part is just community building. Like as humans, we crave connection, even if we might be like, I'm an introvert and a lot of people are, but ultimately, like when we come together to build things, or if we want to facilitate change on Earth, like we can do so much more together. And a lot of people are doing that through NFTs. Or I've even seen some people use NFTs to like sell a house, or sell an idea, or music, like, and it attributes the work to the original artist, and you can also get royalties for every secondary sale.
Okay. This is all sounding very good. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that not every single NFT that someone makes and mints
Mm-hmm.
sells for the 400 ETH,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and has this
totally.
wild success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Is there any examples you can share of where NFTs haven't worked out for someone? Like, is
Yes,
there cases
yes.
where you invest a lot of time and money, and then just like the
Mm-hmm.
stock market, I guess,
Yeah.
like the interest in a certain project crashes and
Mm-hmm.
someone loses out?
Yeah, a lot of projects have rugged, and
Is
that's the
that the
term.
term
Like
for it?
they pull the rug out from under you, and you also see
Mm-hmm.
the term rug in Twitter Spaces, and it's where like you're on, and then all of a sudden you fall off. Um,
Okay.
but my recommendation is going to be to invest in companies or movements or people that you believe in,
Hmm.
or that you know personally, or that you know are in it for the long haul. That like they want to keep creating experiences. They're not in it just to make a bunch of money right up front. There's so many projects
Ooh.
out there doing really cool stuff. Like I hadn't mentioned the Woodies NFT. Like I think they planted 1 million trees at the time they're
Oh
minting. That
wow.
was like one of their commitments they made. Or like my cousin's going to be launching the hippos soon, and she's going to be donating 10%. Um, yeah, they're so cool.
His hippos.
The hippos. So she wants to support children and different movements that like help children get access to education or to different resources. So we're looking at a multitude of just charities to partner with. Um, so
Cool.
yeah,
And here's the Woody's one for anyone watching on the video version.
those are
This
really
is what
cool.
the Woodies look like.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is like if you're going to make a choice to start
Mm-hmm.
buying NFTs, or maybe as a creator if you
Mm-hmm.
want to start creating them, this
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be just a thing that you do once and then forget about,
Yeah.
because then it's not going to hold its value.
Mm-hmm.
An NFT project or like individual NFT retains value when it's something that you keep improving
Mm-hmm.
on and delivering experiences around,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's a community people want to be involved in.
Exactly. Yep. And like
Right.
build utility over time. Or a lot of NFT projects are setting it up to where, if you own like a Roboto, for example, I know Lucas Bean is holding a bunch of different events, like NFT events around the world. I think mainly around the US right now. But rather than paying the ticket price to get in, all you have to do now is show your Roboto.
Hmm.
And that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't connected. And that just like,
Right.
as you connect with one another, you can say like, oh, that's really cool. I like what you're doing. Or what if we did this? And you can dream big and then make things happen. Um,
What this just made me think of for some reason, maybe it's because we've talked on the show before about the weird YouTube rabbit holes I go down,
mhm.
but it sounds like the like creative version almost of like a fraternity or a sorority, where like if you own this,
Exactly.
you are part of this community,
Yeah.
and like you are connected to everyone around the
Hmm.
world who is also a part of it. But I
Hmm.
guess the difference is you don't have to go through a weird hazing
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
involved. You just have to own one of the things.
Yeah. And each community sets up like their own rules. Like we want ours to be like very family friendly, so that anyone can join. Because like a lot of people, or like some of my friends, they were buying robo pets for their kids.
Oh,
Because
cute.
like they love pets, or like I love animals. I bought a bunch of robo pets. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess like I think how I'm starting to get my head around it is it's like we assign value to physical objects, right? Like
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of sneakers.
Yeah.
And so if I'm gonna buy sneakers and like
Hmm.
own these things and like maybe, once every couple months I'll actually wear them. Or
Hmm.
like, a lot of people buy sneakers and then never wear them and they
Hmm.
just hold them around for the value.
Hmm.
Um I guess it's kind of similar with NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Like you buy the things that you're interested in,
Hmm.
and some of them you hold on to, and they might not gain value over time.
Hmm.
Some of them will. Some of them you want to use as your profile picture and things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's a
but like,
very common movement. It's like the you'll see PFP, profile picture project. Um,
okay,
is pretty common right now, because people can say like, oh, I invested in this. And I think Twitter is working on a mechanism to where you can connect your wallet with your Twitter account and verify like, oh, this is me. I hope that they do a way to like actually show your face. But a lot of people are like very anonymous in the space, like the Web3 space. So that you might never know someone's name. You'll just know their username. It feels like,
interesting, and their profile picture, I guess.
yeah, feels like back in like MySpace days, or like AOL or Messenger, where people had usernames rather than their real name. But
Yeah. I think what you said about the NFT project owner like picking a project based on if they're going to continue with the experience or not is making a lot of sense to me. Because to be honest, and I'm going to say it because I'm sure that a lot of other creators have been thinking it too, it felt a little bit like pyramid schemey to me, where it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to buy this thing, and then in order for this to have value, I have to make other people want to buy it too. But and like I guess there could be a bit of that, like as there always is, you know, with good old Mr. Elon Musk pumping up different cryptocurrencies and even his own stock sometimes.
No, very true.
Yeah.
do your research. It's so important. Like, don't just like willy-nilly pick a random project to invest in. Go get to know the community. Ask questions. Most of them have a Discord or they're on Twitter, and you can kind of get to know everyone that's working in the space. And see like, what are they building? Why are they building this? So.
Yep. And Twitter definitely is a great place. Like that's where I feel like I've learned the little I have about NFTs so far. Chris has asked here, should you start with OpenSea to get started with buying NFTs? I want to talk more about the creating, but let's start briefly on the buying side. OpenSea, someone goes there, finds something they're interested in, and then researches it.
Yes. So once you found a project, I recommend checking out like verified projects. So you see the blue check mark. Once you're there, what you're going to need to do is set up a wallet, and you can use like a lot of people are using MetaMask or Trust Wallet. Go do some research around like which one you prefer to use, and then you can purchase Ethereum or Solana, depending on, I don't know if they have Solana on there. I think it's all ETH and Polygon. Might be other. I'm still learning. But you'll buy the Ethereum within like a app like Coinbase or like El Toro, I think is the name. And then you can transfer your ETH over to your wallet. So then it's like they're ready to be spent. Wallet. Yes. And then you can connect that to OpenSea, and then you can purchase the NFTs.
Okay, cool. So yeah, check it out if that's something you're interested in getting into. We have a question here from Alejandro saying, why is it more common now to see NFT collections of these like 10K artworks? Is it to ensure that demand grows or to build more utility for the community?
I would say it's definitely a mixture of both there. Around like, you'll see some projects where there are only like 200 people that hold all 10,000 NFTs. If you look at Robotos, it's like a little over 5,000 people hold the NFTs.
Right.
And when only like 200 people hold something, that's very centralized, and like the possibility for someone to like manipulate the market is very high. Like someone could go in and like set a bunch of NFTs on sale at like 0.2 and the rest of, and that will set the floor at 0.2 ETH when maybe all the rest are like 2 ETH or something.
And that in turn lowers the value of the ones that you hold if someone who owns a bunch of them is doing that. Yeah. So yeah, I recommend projects that are larger with more holders. So yeah, because then there's a lower chance of people manipulating the market. Gotcha. And where do you think this buzz comes from? Dale has asked that, there's a lot of buzz surrounding collections of various characters, like Robotos, like Woodies, like Deadfellas is another one that I've seen. And this seems to be more popular now than one-off photos or art or pieces of music, websites, whatever.
I think
why do you think this is? Okay.
They relate to it. They like the art. They form a connection and create like a personality for their character. So it's compared to buying maybe a different like conventional piece of art, you might not do that. It might just sit on the wall and you can look at it. Compared to with different projects, like with Robotos, we've added the ability to like make little comics, and we're releasing different Figma templates, so you can make like little interactive stories around them. So it's, I don't know, a mixture.
It sounds like there's more community aspect to it when it's one of these big 10K projects versus just like, I own this one special thing. And that also, there's more room to expand on it as well. Okay, so if I'm a creator, which I am, so I don't know why I phrased it like that.
You are
and if I make some art, what do I what should I do to turn it into an NFT project? I feel like we've already touched on the like technical side of like, okay, OpenSea is a thing you have to do. There's a thing called a DApp that people can research to learn about that side of things. But yeah, talk us through a little bit more about the creation process of an NFT.
Yeah, so I mean, OpenSea, Rarible are probably like the most accessible platforms
Okay.
to go and mint an NFT on. So you want to set up your wallet and send some ETH over to that wallet, and then I think literally on OpenSea, it's one of like the main buttons. So you can click like create an NFT, and then it's like fairly straight.
Take any file that you've made on your computer, and
yeah,
that becomes an NFT.
Meets whatever the requirements are. Like there's some file size limits.
Okay.
But you'll upload that and name it and set a price. You could even set the quantity. So you'll see sometimes there are like art pieces where there's 100 of this NFT. So up to 100 people can purchase them. So like we do a lot of different collaborations. Like we had one with Amrit where he made like a toy face for Bato. It was really, really cute. So I definitely went for it because I love Amrit too. But let's see. Once you have created the NFT and set it live, then people can go ahead and invest. So then you start sharing, or in the space they say shilling. So you hear that term.
That doesn't sound like a great term. I'm surprised that gets used.
It's like, are you here to shill your NFTs? I see it more of like, hey, I'm doing this project. Check it out.
Right.
So yeah.
Because I feel like I can get my head around, and I already started thinking about what if I made some NFTs out of my previous t-shirt designs that I used to run this project for anyone who is like new to the show. I've talked about it before. In university, had a t-shirt company. Made a bunch of like quote typographic designs as part of that. So that's like, where my mind went when I was thinking about making an NFT. But then you see these collections of like 5,000, 10,000. People are not, I assume, sitting there literally moving these pixels into place for 10,000 images. Like
there are a few.
Yeah.
I've
people doing that?
Where it's like 3,000, but most of it is generative. So we're actually working on at Blush. We're working on building out Bueno right now, and we're building tools for creators. Because I think a lot of people have the mindset like, oh, you have to program or you have to write code in order to.
Or you have to move a bunch of pixels around painstakingly by hand. Yeah.
Save every single one individually and upload them. That would take forever compared to being able to deploy a contract where you can like deploy 10,000 of them. So we're working on creating that tooling for people to do this without writing code. So we're very, very excited about that. And we're partnering with a few artists right now, and we're building the tools as we go. And we've built multiple tools as we're creating like Robotos and their RoboPets. So it's been a ton of fun.
Okay, cool. So we should stay tuned for that, because that sounds like the no code version of making a generative collection. So I like the sound of it. Yeah, that sounds cool. There's something we haven't touched on yet that we need to. That when I first started hearing about NFTs, pretty soon after, I also started hearing, but NFTs have this like terrible environmental impact. And I was really confused about that, because there was a lot of people who I really respect, like you, working in the space. And I'm like, I don't think of Waldo as this big like climate change denier, earth polluter. So what's going on here? What do people need to know about this?
No, I love the environment. And like, I want us to consider too, other industries when they're starting out, like the automobile industry over the last 100 years has worked to create a more sustainable way to run cars. And it's taken about 100 years. It's not going to take that long when it comes to NFTs. Right now, it takes far too much energy. And that's why you'll see gas prices are super high. That's like the transaction fee that you'll go through. But with the team that is working on these projects, like Solana already is super eco-friendly. And ETH2 or Ethereum 2.0 is being developed.
Which we learned about just before. Okay. Yeah.
They're working on that right now to where it's going to be like 700 times faster and much more eco-friendly. And let's see. So we're going to be... Sorry, I'm pulling up a few different...
No, we want to get the facts right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because as I understand it, it's not an NFT itself on the blockchain that is causing a lot of energy use.
That is doing that right now.
Right.
compared to like a proof of stake system, which is what ETH2 is being worked on right now.
Okay.
And the proof of work, it's like you have to perform all these calculations that are happening in the background to say, okay, now this is a real thing. It's on the blockchain. Compared to proof of stake is going to be much less energy consuming
Okay.
comparatively. Yeah.
And that's because everyone's computer, or like, you know, when we're checking on who owns this in the blockchain, is like doing that calculation.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
obviously using a lot of energy. And I also know that mining cryptocurrencies is what leads to a lot of energy use, right? Because there's computers doing calculations to like basically like digitally pan for gold, essentially, right?
Essentially, yeah.
To do the calculations to unlock the string of the cryptocurrency. That's what's leading to the energy use. I like the way that you said that, though, that this is going to be solved faster than the automobile industry, for example.
And it's super early. Like we're mindful of that. Like for like if you read what's that book I just read, The Infinite Machine. It's like tells you the story behind how they're building Ethereum, and it's fascinating. And they move so fast with the development updates they're making, and they realize like, oh, well, it's really really secure, but it's taking up a ton of energy to do it right now. But we can do both. And you know, if we put our minds together and dream big, like we can work to solve these problems. And I firmly believe we're going to be solving them within the next few years. And it's super early, and I'd rather be part of the solution than referring back to like one or two articles and preventing people from entering the space.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I think it is about, this is how the world is going to have to be, right? With anything new we create, is we're not going back to caveman days. Like, we're just not doing that as a society. Even though obviously that would have huge benefits to the planet. It's also like, it's more about finding a way to make the things that we're interested in, like what we want to exist, to make it sustainable, rather than just flat out not doing it because on the outset it looks like it's not sustainable enough.
Yeah. And you can have a much bigger impact by reducing your meat intake by 50% or your fish intake. Like, if you go and look at the oceans right now, we're destroying them with overfishing them. And I've learned this by like, I was working on the Jelly Squad project and learned that like jellyfish.
Another NFT project, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Are like taking over the ocean because like their natural predators, tuna, are like being overfished. So
oh my gosh,
jellyfish are just like taking over.
Well, now I'm going to have nightmares about that. So thank you, Waldo. But no, let's keep talking. Let's keep talking about the future, though. Because coming in the future, what you see is this sustainability issue being worked on, and that people are actively working on it, and that it is something the community cares about. So I love hearing that. Something else I want to read off. I'm going to read you one of your own tweets. So this might feel a little weird, but I feel like everyone needs to hear this. You wrote this in a thread about NFTs, and you said that NFTs provide us an opportunity to build a better future as creators and as humans. It gives us an opportunity to believe in one another in a way that many of us haven't been encouraged to do so before. And this is, I feel like, from the outside, which I consider myself on the outside right now of the NFT community, this is what I've seen, right? I feel like I've seen this happening. As a creator, it has been so exciting to me to see people value art in this way. I feel like that hasn't happened in the past decade. That it just hasn't been seen. People are asking artists for free drawings. There's things like, I don't know, all those companies ripping off artists and printing their designs on their mass-produced clothing. Art just feels like it's having a resurgence in value right now through NFTs, which is exciting for me. And that it's people saying, I value this thing you made, and I'm going to invest in it, and I'm going to be a part of this community around it as well, which I think is really cool. But I want to hear more of your thoughts on what the future is for NFTs.
Instead of like Amazon or Reddit or Facebook owning or getting all of the proceeds of the art that people are creating, the artists are finally getting paid for the work that they created. Rather than just like all these views or conversions that might have happened.
Exposure, because that pays the rent. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. No, I think it's such a massive just opportunity for creators to like dream big. I've been speaking with all my friends and they're like, wait, I can make a project and have fun with it and share it and make money too. Like, a lot of artists are out there and they've created artwork and maybe they'll sell like one or two pieces or they just haven't sold as many. And the beauty of NFTs is that we're building communities around them. And as we build communities, like we're building connections with other people that have different affinities, different skills, different connections that they can then say like, oh, what if we did this together? And the space to dream that big hasn't really been around, at least for me in the past. Like I come from a family of like starving artists that like made a ton of art, but they were never really able to get it out there as much. And we're seeing that change. And it's sometimes overnight for people, but a lot of artists have been working for 10, 20 years plus making art. And now they're finally finding a space to find a community and grow and share and like be encouraged to create, be encouraged to believe in something that's bigger than themselves. So.
That's beautiful. I want us to talk too about how creators can have success with NFTs, because
Yes.
so there's people listening who like me and now like, okay, maybe this isn't something I want to ignore anymore. Maybe this is something I should want to get into. How can a creator have success with an NFT project? What I'm hearing from you a lot is community. Yeah, that aspect of it is really important. It can't just be all about the image or the thing itself. Think about the community part of it. What other advice do you have for creators to be successful with selling NFTs?
So, building out your community on Twitter, I think is just a great platform to hop into. And get to know people, like start following people. If you look up NFT on Twitter, you're going to get like millions of results almost every day. So find some projects that you admire and kind of see what they're doing. Some of them are connecting with like musicians to set it to where their NFT is now the ticket to get into the concert.
Oh, wow.
So like create utility around your NFT. Whether it's like you have this NFT, now you get a discount at the store. Or if you buy this NFT, you're going to have, you're able to bring it into a metaverse, which like a lot of people are getting into like metaverses and like building those.
Not just Facebook.
Not just Facebook. Yeah. Actually my coworker Jason was working on Scallywags, and it's like a metaverse inside of NFTs. It's a 2D metaverse. And I'm just like,
yeah, my brain is going like,
explode.
Okay.
And like, what if you could take that to like a concert and, everyone can like kind of speak to one another and like maybe it changes backgrounds. I don't know. There's so many experiences that you can create. So I think that's the part that I want to encourage artists to consider is what experience are you creating at the end of the day? Because we're in the experience economy. Like that's people pay for experiences, or they're watching this YouTube video right now. Like that's an experience. And let's see, different ways to grow. Share what you're working on. Like be transparent. Show the raw stuff of like, here's the initial sketch. Show the process. Show your work in public. Build in public. I love that movement as well. Talk to your friends and get to know people. Like I'd love to meet more people. Like
here we go. I'm going to put a banner up on screen right now. You should follow Waldo on Twitter. I think honestly, though, this would be a great introduction if you're wanting to get into the NFT community. See who Waldo is tweeting or tweeting about. See who he follows, and you'll find a good start of people there. And for the audio listeners, it's Waldo Broodryk, which is spelled WALDO BROODRYK. But we'll link it in the show notes as well for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. And I think one of the most beautiful things is like, I haven't been in such an encouraging space in such a long time. Like, yes, there can be a competitive factor, but most of like the Twitter spaces I hop into, people are like, oh, I'm going through this thing happening in life, or I'm struggling with burnout. And then everyone's like, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Like the encouragement factor is, I don't know, it blesses my heart. So, I love it.
That side of things honestly is to me sounding like and again, now I'm gonna like reveal a little piece of myself. MySpace in the like late 2000s was my like community. That's where I found my people, right? It was like people who like the same music as me, and you would first connect because of that, but then you would just become friends and you would have someone there to talk to about anything going on in life. And it sounds like this is happening with NFT projects as well, which I don't think happens with it's harder for that to happen with a lot of other art these days, because we do have the algorithms on social media networks like getting in the way and honestly preventing this a lot of the time. So
That's so true.
yeah, I think can't remember if you said this on the show or when we are talking before yet, but that a lot of communication around NFTs happens in Discords, right?
Yes, yes. You're going to need to set up Discord, and I need to tell everyone right now: don't click on links from people you don't know.
Okay.
Like, yeah, just security. Use like common sense, but like if you don't know someone, don't click on links from them, especially in Discord. I've seen that happen way too many times. Set up, like, verify your account with Twitter on Discord. And yeah, join Discords that like you enjoy their rules and the way they handle everything. So I'm really, really grateful for like our mods within Discord. Like, they're so incredibly helpful. They hop in and answer questions, but they also help keep it a safe space. But yeah, everything's happening on Discord. So
great.
I feel like a Discord noob. I'm still like getting to know it. I spent all my time in Slack the past few years, and I spent a little time in Discord, but now I'm in there like every day, all day. So it's fun.
Yeah, and again, this is just coming back to community, right? I feel like maybe what creators are thinking tuning into this, and that they thought it was mostly going to be about art and about, like, I don't know, the design and the creation of things, but what it really comes down to is community, both in the buying and the selling side of NFTs. I feel like is my main takeaway. But yeah,
and utility. Like, I mean, I'm seeing projects pop up now to where people are setting it up to where if you invest in this, then you get to go see the movie or be part of a movie, or people are making like a board game. It's almost like Kickstarter, but with NFTs, and it's decentralized, and people get rewarded like almost immediately. So I don't know. I want to encourage people to truly dream big about what they'd like to create. Like, create experiences worth repeating. I love that tagline. It's from Hirsch and Family Entertainment. Yeah, people want that. They need that. They crave it. So.
Yeah, definitely. And this is all super new. And I think that for creators, this is only going to become more and more relevant for us, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's not something you want to get into buying and selling right now, I think at least taking the time to understand it and like to know what's happening and why other people are valuing it is really useful. So yeah, I hope people enjoyed this episode for that. I hope it could have been an introduction to NFTs for them. And yeah, thanks for everything you shared, Waldo, because thanks for asking all my questions as well and not thinking any of them was stupid. I appreciate you.
You don't know what you don't know, and that is okay. If people have a different idea, then that is just sad. I'm sorry, but that's not how we grow. Like, we should learn from one another and create safe spaces to learn together. So we're working on something there. So soon.
I love that. And that is exactly why I invited you onto this show. So yeah. Thank you for everything you shared. Thanks to everyone listening and for the questions we had in the chat. Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to make any promises right now, but I am finding myself less interested in staying on the sidelines of NFTs. Let's say that as a result of this conversation. So
you've got an investor
thanks,
right
Waldo.
here, so
Okay. Might hold you to that. We'll see. I'll go shill my NFTs to you. Did I use that right?
Please do. Yeah. No, we need more people in the space, and I also want to give a little shout out to all the robotos out there. We like to say beep boop.
We had one in the chat as well.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. So thank you all.
Love it. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening in. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, Charlie. Bye.